The business of sort of skills development in the arts is increasingly dear to my heart, because I'm one of those people in my job as a production manager who's constantly beset by a massive skills shortage in that area. And so I spend a lot of time thinking about why that is and what can be done about it, and what can be done at a grassroots level. And just in thinking about how to distill that into 10 or 12 sentences today, for me there are two or three things that stand out. One is about ideology. I think you can kind of, any skill, be it a plumber, doctor, no matter what, can be described as a cultural or artistic skill, as long as it's imbued with some sense of belief. I'm not talking about Mein Kampf or Das Kapital or the Bible or whatever. Just a sense that it's imbued with some sort of ideology. And I think that often what I'm finding is there's a disjoint between people who have great skills and abilities, but maybe don't quite believe in anything, or haven't got the wheels in motion of a belief system, so that they can find allies amongst artists or amongst their fellow workers, and actually come together. So a lot of people in our sector, I believe, are mercenaries, who are just there for the ride, there for the money, there to climb their way to the top of the hill, and there to get out again quite early in their careers and go and do something else. And I don't think that that's a lost cause, just one that there's then an onus upon artists to reach out to the people who facilitate what they do, and the people who deliver on their vision, and include them in their ideologies and spread that. And I'm very lucky to work with people and companies who do that. The second thing that I wanted to talk about was just how we value skills in the arts and the currency of that. On the one hand, there's the fact that we're perpetually dependent upon a patronage. And often what happens is, of course, we instantly think about valuing skills in terms of financial remuneration. And I think that's symptomatic of this disease of referring to everything that we do in the management of the arts as though the business model of dealing with it is the best way. And I think that is wholly wrong, and it's very safe, and rather like what Lem was saying about how it gives us something to evaluate and something to gauge, and something that we can write a report about and go home at 5 o'clock and feel better and feel like the job's done. It misses the point that within the arts, if you're going to run it like a business, you need a business plan, and often I think that's why in this country people write plays rather than do non-text-based theatre, because a play ends up being a business plan. It's something you can put in front of the Arts Council or the producer or whatever, and go, here it is, here's the guarantee, it's going to work, and they find, okay, we'll take a chance on that. There's your business plan. And actually that's not true. And what happens with making art for me is that we don't know what's going to happen at the end when we start off at the beginning. We haven't got the first clue. And that's very difficult to sell, it's very difficult to include people in it. So again, what Lem's saying about just let the artist do it. But I think what's missing in that is a vital cog in terms of skills development is recognising that one of the essential facets of skills in the cultural sector is an act of generosity. So no matter how good I am as an employer at the outset of saying, look, I've got this job, it's going to be like this, and I can paint this lovely picture of how it might be. The truth is that there's a massive act of generosity on the part of the person who's going to come and work for me, because there is no guarantee that it's all going to work out fine. There's no guarantee that the piece is going to be any good. There's no guarantee it'll even happen. It might make a massive loss. Somebody might die. God knows what might happen. And we've got to do a job of making everybody who's investing in that and supporting it feel good. But there's a sharing of the burden of risk. And I think that that's a cultural skill in itself that happens at a very grassroots level, because people are not naive, and the people who contribute to the making of a piece of art are aware of its fragility and the fact that any one little tiny facet can go wrong, and that can bring the whole house tumbling down. And so the need to value a skill set within the arts sector it involves looking at it through different systems of remuneration. It's not just about paying for it. It's about a degree of inclusion, about a degree of ownership, about a degree of recognition of a shared burden of risk. And I think that that cuts both ways, because I think that people who are not directly in the firing line as artists need to be willing to assume a little bit of the burden of artistic exposure as well, and be brave and welcome that, and stand shoulder to shoulder with an artist in that moment, and then we can foster some relationships which have a degree of longevity about them. And the final thing is about synthesis. And I think that while skills development clearly is getting better and better, there's a sort of different sense of that in which getting better every day is a sort of necessary mantra that we don't sort of stop learning. I don't stop acquiring odd things, and none of it's got anything to do with the arts. It's to do with, sewers or the structures of some odd chemical. The theatre in particular has a long history of just borrowing technology and ideas from all and sundry, and none of it's legitimate. It's all fakery in order to produce a truth, and the constant acquisition of skills is important. But by far more important is the ability to synthesize them and to boil them down into something which facilitates an artistic vision. So it can be very specific, and often what happens is in our training establishments is we basically knock out blanket skills of areas based upon precedent of what's gone before. So I'm surrounded by thousands of people who know how to wire a plug, and nobody who knows anything about the different properties of concrete when you put ultraviolet paint on them, or just the specifics. And in some ways it's the mistake to make is to assume that there is a body of work out there, a body of knowledge out there which is artistic or cultural. There isn't. It all is. There isn't a single thing that can't be turned into a piece of work, and so we turn our back on that at our peril. The skill is in synthesizing that, and in teaching people how to pluck the various different things, and that's what an artist is doing. And if the artist can do that, then the people supporting the artist and in delivering the work need to be able to do that as well. And so for me, whilst things are getting better every day, I feel that nobody is basically taking skilled people and broadening their horizons enough and getting them to the stage where they can have a command and a freedom and a know nothing. In a sense, it's better to know nothing than to be an expert in one tiny thing. To know nothing, but to just approach the start line of an artistic endeavour with an open heart and acquire the knowledge on the spot that amounts to that. It's kind of an anti-learning rant on my part. But yeah, there we go.